There are names that echo through history as titans of industry. And then there's John D. Rockefeller, the man who built the world's first true monopoly. They call him the richest man in modern history. But behind the clean headlines and polished biographies lies a truth darker than you've been told. This is not just the story of a man who sold oil. It's the story of how he rewired medicine, manipulated education, controlled public opinion, and helped shape the world order as we know it. Let me show you how. The rise of a titan. John D. Rockefeller was born in 1839. His father, a literal snake oil salesman, a con man who vanished for months, lying and scamming for profit. His mother, a devout Baptist who taught young John the value of discipline. That tension, faith, and fraud shaped him. From a young age, he was obsessed with control. In his early 20s, Rockefeller entered the oil business. But he didn't want to compete. He wanted to dominate. Through secret deals with railroads, price fixing, and ruthless takeovers, he destroyed competitors. If you stood in his way, your business died. By the 1880s, Standard Oil controlled over 90% of America's oil, an empire so vast it made kings out of men and crushed anyone in its path. But oil was only the beginning. Beyond oil, the real empire. Rockefeller knew, if you control a product, you make money. But if you control the system behind the product, you make history. He turned his attention to medicine. In the early 1900s, American healthcare was a mix of herbal remedies, traditional medicine, and natural treatments. That diversity threatened Rockefeller's new interest: petrochemicals. Why? Because the drugs made from oil, pharmaceuticals, were the future, and he owned the companies making them. So he began a quiet war. He funded major medical schools, but with strings attached. Only scientific medicine would be taught. Scientific, meaning chemical-based, patentable, and profitable. He funded the Flexner Report, which systematically discredited alternative medicine. Natural healing, labeled as quackery. Herbalists, shut down. Homeopaths, erased. And so began the medical-industrial complex, a system where sickness became business. The PR makeover, turning a villain into a saint. By the early 1900s, the public saw Rockefeller as what he was, a ruthless monopolist. Workers protested, journalists called him a tyrant. The courts broke up Standard Oil in 1911, but not really. He simply divided it into smaller companies. Names you know today: Exxon, Chevron, Mobil. But Rockefeller didn't panic. He hired a man named Ivy Lee, the father of modern public relations. Lee's plan was genius. Rebrand Rockefeller as a generous grandfather. Photos were staged of him handing coins to children. Newspapers were paid to publish puff pieces. The press went from calling him a villain to calling him a philanthropist. But behind that smile, the machine never stopped. Unions were crushed, wages were kept low, and the media, bought and paid for. This wasn't just PR, it was mind control. And it worked. Engineering the future, foundation power. Rockefeller's real genius wasn't in what he built, it was in what he left behind. In 1913, he created the Rockefeller Foundation. On paper, it was philanthropy. In reality, it was a vehicle for influence. With quiet funding, the foundation began reshaping public health education systems, food production, even international policy. They promoted global vaccine programs, backed GMO research, influenced population control policy in developing countries. Some say it was charity, others say it was social engineering. Even the World Health Organization and United Nations both received Rockefeller backing at critical stages of formation. This wasn't about helping the world, it was about designing it. The playbook still lives. You might think Rockefeller's era is long gone, but look around. The strategies he mastered, monopoly, media manipulation, manufactured consent, still shape the world. Big Pharma controls health, Big Tech controls speech, central banks control your money, And every time a billionaire creates a foundation, launches a school, or donates to fix the world, ask yourself, are they solving problems or owning the solutions? The ending they don't want you to hear. Rockefeller died in 1937, but his system didn't. The corporations he spawned still dominate. The medical systems he redesigned still run. The media playbook he wrote is still followed. This is more than history. It's a manual for control, and we're still living inside it. So next time you hear a billionaire being praised as a savior, or a foundation claiming to change the world, remember, real power doesn't brag, it hides. And John D. Rockefeller, he didn't just build an empire, he built a blueprint for global influence and left the rest of us playing catch-up.